Ladies, are you ready? It's competition season and makeup. We do everything to prepare for a show. The diet, all of the training, the posing suit, but everything's important, and especially being ready, competition ready as far as makeup. And here's my co-host, Alina Popa, and
what's up, guys?
Yes, and we have expert professional makeup artist, Leiah Scheibel.
Hello.
She's from The Simple Allure. So, Leiah, yes, help us out. Tell us what we need to do, what the women need to do. Where are we going to focus first?
Right. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that your makeup doesn't overtake everything else that you have already prepared. So what we want to do is obviously we want to have a dramatic smoky eye. So we are going to go ahead and start with eyes, because it is a little bit more smoky, it is a little bit more messy, and so we don't want any fallout. So always starting your eyes first is a really, really good bet. When you had started talking, we were applying a shadow base, which is very, very, very important to the application process, because otherwise everything moves around. Our eyelids are so oily, they're so warm, so you have to really kind of keep that eyeshadow base. It's make it or break it. So
it's a shadow base.
So this one has a shadow base. I've already started with color here, but this one also has a shadow base as well. What I've applied now is called a transition color. So obviously her smoky eye is going to be a lot darker than this color, but this color is really great because it kind of gives everything a really pretty transition. So nothing is too hard lines. You're not going to see anything that is, you know, a black hard line from this lighter color.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I like a fluffy brush. And we really don't want to do anything too matchy. So if you have a teal green suit that's so beautiful and it's really sparkly, we don't want to do necessarily a teal green eye. We can always pop a little bit of teal green on a liner, but what we're going to do is really focus on that kind of a neutral smoky eye.
That's a great point. Yeah, so teal suit, you don't necessarily come out with no teal eye, but you can add some color. Okay.
Exactly.
That's why I always think it's great to have a professional. Ladies, it's worth spending that money, because this is super important. You want a professional to prepare you so that everything just flows.
And you don't have to do it yourself. I mean, oftentimes first timers are out there and they are, you know, you've already done so much work, but maybe makeup is not your forte. So really leave it to the expert. You need it to stay on all day. You need it to not move around. You want to make sure that you're not having to go buy all these colors that are specifically made to stay on all day long.
Yes, yes, it makes sense. And plus with the ladies, I know we have usually prejudgings in the morning and then we have an evening show. So it's really important, like you're saying, to put this makeup on, and you want it to last from the morning to evening.
Exactly. So what we're doing here is we're just popping a little bit of a darker color in here in the corners. And we're not going to be able to finish an entire smoky eye, so we're just getting the jits, the really important parts, that eyeshadow base, that transition color, that deeper, darker color on the outer edges, because we want to talk about lashes too.
Wow. Yeah, lashes super important. I know in the beginning I thought, I have to wear eyelashes, but man, it makes such a major difference.
It's a huge.
You have to have on eyelashes because the eye disappears. You don't see. You want the eyes to stand out and pop when you're on stage.
Exactly. And you, on the contrary, you don't want them to be closed up either. So a lot of times people think bigger, darker, blacker, but it closes up the eye a little bit. So we really want to lift and open everything.
That was a question that I had, is because you're on stage, do you have to go darker and stronger on the outside, on the cat eye?
Yes, if you're looking for it to look like a cat eye, you need it to be far more accentuated. So with my little winged line here, if you wanted a wing on stage, it needs to be bigger, it needs to be bolder, and it needs to be angled much differently than you would anticipate. With that person or artist who is your expert, really make sure that she or he is well versed in your particular stage. The stage matters. Is it theater? Is it a show? Is it a competition? Really kind of, are you well versed in that area? We're just popping a little bit of shimmer on here just to give her a really pretty softer look. If we were going to go super black and we had tons of time, I would take a little bit of a black shadow here and pull it inwards.
I see.
But we're gonna throw a liner on her and then we're gonna stack some lashes.
Stack some lashes.
All right.
Very good.
What kind of colors do you normally wear?
Purples, browns, grays.
Beautiful, yeah. It also makes a difference too. If you have green eyes, purples are really pretty. They're gonna accentuate them, make them look nice and big and bright. Blue eyes, the very same. Go ahead and close. So with the liner, we just talked a little bit about a winged liner, and she does love it. So we're gonna twist you this way. So
And she looks great with wing light. I love it when you put your liner on.
So we're gonna go ahead and really angle it up. So I know that it looks like this is crazy, but it's not that crazy when she opens her eye. So we wanna go ahead and pull it all the way up, and we can clean it up for sure. Open. So you can see that that line and that wing is not as crazy as it looked. So making sure that we're angling like a 90-degree angle. And short strokes across that lash line are gonna make a huge difference. A lot of people think that you can just go one swipe. One swipe would be amazing, but doesn't happen. So short strokes where we're really stamping.
I see.
And a little bit thinner on the inside because we don't want her to be full black liner.
Okay.
Open. So you can see she has a nice thick line, but on the inner corner, we're gonna go ahead and look down and over here for me. Really keep it small.
And do you recommend for, let's say, women that they're not used to wearing lashes, they're not used to wearing a lot of makeup, that they maybe have like a test run?
I always do a trial with my fitness competitors and my brides. It's practically the same thing. You prepare just as much.
That's right.
And so it's really important to make sure that you like it, that you're comfortable with it, that you can sit with it, that you've sat for a full day with those lashes that are heavier than normal. They're little shades, like you can't see as much. You're gonna walk perfect.
That's right, because it can throw your equilibrium off, you know. Lashes is like really simple. I remember the first time I had on lashes and then I thought, oh my God, it just felt weird. And you know, so that's so important. You're practicing that walk and your presentation, and now all of a sudden you wait to the last minute and you're throwing on these eyelashes, and it affects your presentation.
Okay, and then go that way for me. I also feel like it's super important to book your artist early, especially if she is well versed in the fitness community, because she will likely also be booked.
Yes.
And so being able to have someone at your disposal for your trial, being there as early as you need her to be there, perhaps coming back for a touch-up for the actual competition before prejudging or after prejudging. It's really important that you're just really comfortable with that person.
Yeah.
The reason that I love a black line is because it helps you hide your lashes. Makes your lashes look a little bit more natural. So if you have that black line, your lashes tend to look a little bit more thick, a little bit more voluminous, and a little bit less lashy.
Okay.
They look a bit more natural.
I see. And so you apply that, this is always applied for the eyeshadow, the eyeliner applied prior to the eyelashes.
Exactly, because you want to have that base underneath it. I also really enjoy a little bit of mascara as well on your lashes, just because once we're applying our lashes to the natural lash line, our natural lashes can look a little bit dusty sometimes, and we want them to be nice and dark.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things that I learned. I would always put on, I think back in the day, like my mascara or my lashes, and then go and put on the eyeshadow, and then the eyeshadow was all over the lashes.
Exactly.
So that's the last thing to apply.
Right, and also with that glue from the lash line, sometimes it's tricky because you really want to make sure that that glue is going to grab anything that hits it. So powder, shimmer, sparkle. So we want to make sure that everything is nice and complete. So this is a very, very, very simple look. This is certainly not a stage look. If you want to take a peek over there, certainly not a stage look, but basically it's going to give you your how-to, paint by numbers, if you will. Your darker, your lighter, and then your lashes.
Okay, I see.
And, do you use latex-free glue?
Yes, always.
That's always great, because the fumes from the regular...
They make your eyes water.
Yes.
Yep.
They make my eyes feel like I'm tired all day.
Exactly. And then
Wow, that's huge.
And it also makes them harder to apply. So if you're teary and your line is a little watery, that glue is not going to adhere well, and your lashes are going to be waving to everyone just like you are.
So I noticed that many times I have to cut it myself, right? You can use the full length.
If you have a nice big eye, you can, those lucky girls, but most of the time you want to cut them. So I'm cutting off a little bit. You want to have your lashes start on the inner lash of your own, and you want to have one of your lashes on the outside as well, so that everything looks natural and blended together. And then we want to go really, really sheer with the glue. We don't want too much glue or it's going to set too far away from the lash line. And then I like to use a black glue because it immediately looks nice
Okay,
and dark.
I see.
But I will say, with the black glue, if you don't set it right and it hits the lid,
Oh, okay.
it's all over.
It's all over.
And you always, 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 I call it the fan dance. You want your lashes to get nice and tacky. You don't want anything too gooey, because if it's too gooey, then it's going to slide around.
I see. So you don't put the glue on and then immediately try to put it on.
Nope.
Get it. You want it to be tacky.
I really have small eyes.
Alina has nice, beautiful little eyes.
It's perfect. Nice full eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even noticed something. I watched a video. I never really thought about it. Like with big lashes, like the lash could be so long that it like goes past up to your
Touches your
eyebrow.
brow, right.
And I never really thought about that.
Yeah, you want them to be a little bit more natural in the fact that they're not like disrupting any other part of the face.
Right.
So if your brows are already done and your lashes are kind of in the way, look down for me, then it is a little bit more tricky.
Yeah.
So is this something, because I see they are not extremely long or dramatic. Is this something you'd put for stage makeup?
Yes, well this one is just, I mean, we didn't want to go too big just because this eye is going to look a lot, it's going to look a lot kind of overtaken if we put something too big. But I would say for stage, we definitely want to go bigger.
Okay.
And we can always stack. So chop up your lashes, cut them a little bit shorter, make sure that they're completely dry, and then pop on your lashes. A second pair right on top.
So you know now with the women wearing the lashes that are
Extensions.
So like so what do you recommend the women that wear extensions and they're wearing them and that's not what they would wear during the day?
Then you want to go ahead and go bigger.
You
If you're
wanna go bigger.
comfortable wearing a lash and you're comfortable having something, just keep looking down. If you're comfortable wearing something a little bit bigger, try bigger, and oftentimes too, use them when you're not competing, so that
Okay.
make sure that you're trying them a little bit longer without, you know, jumping right off the bat. But if you wear extensions, absolutely go, I would say 2 or 3
I
times
see.
larger.
Okay.
Open. Perfect. And look down and over here. And we want to make sure that the lashes meet the natural lash. Go ahead and open. Perfect. And what we would do is we would take another set and chop them even smaller than we chopped before and literally set them right on top.
I see.
That's going to give it a really pretty 3D effect
I
where the
see.
lashes are kind of separating from each other. All right, so let's talk skin. We're going to go skin because it's super, super important that when you're tanning that you want to go ahead and match both to each other.
Yes.
Obviously, Alina is her beautiful normal complexion color.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you how to apply it. So generally speaking, we want to go ahead and keep it nice and light underneath of the eyes. Go ahead and open.
This is really an important tip because she's talking about your tan now, and you want to basically want the makeup to flow. So do you want do you want the face much lighter or light or flowing? How would you say as far as if a dark tan?
So with your dark tan, what you want to do is wherever your darkest color is on your body, you need that color in the areas of your face where you would naturally tan. So
I see.
even if she's her same color and she gets tan and she's 17 times darker than this, the cheekbones, the top of her halo of her head, around the edges of her face, all need to match that tan.
Wow.
So when you're putting your base on, your base can be a few shades lighter than absolutely everything else, but you need to have this color in the areas of the face. So we're popping a little bit of concealer on so she looks nice and bright, and then I'll show you exactly where those darker colors can be.
Okay.
So she's going to be lighter through the center of her face, which is where I'm taking this color, which is her natural
I see.
color. And we're giving her a nice even look
I
here.
see. So lighter
Lighter through the
through
center.
the center and under the eyes.
Under the eyes, a little chin. This pulls everything forward. So highlighting those features, lighter colors are gonna pull them forward. The darker colors are gonna help them recede and look more lifted.
Oh, nice.
So this is that color, and so we are gonna give her a little bit. Let's see here.
This is such an art. That's
It
why I say,
is.
guys, hire a professional. So important.
Exactly. And so I'm gonna go kind of dark just so that you can kind of see. This is not gonna necessarily be her natural color. We can make anything work, but so you can see I'm putting this darker color here. I'm putting this darker color here. So these are the areas you're gonna match your tan to. You can see this is not Alina's color at all.
Okay,
She wanted
that's right.
to be this color.
That's right.
This is how we're gonna kind of make her that way. Jawline.
Wow, it's very interesting.
And so these are the areas that you can pull that really dark color to that you're like, gosh, there's no way I would want my face that color.
That's right.
But you
Right.
also don't want to have a super light face when your body, I mean, it's a
Yes.
distraction.
It is a distraction.
And you don't want anything taking away from what you've spent all of your time doing. So I've applied it, and now we're just gonna blend it in. I'm using a clean brush, twist this way. I'm using a clean brush all the way up into the hairline. If there's anything I can tell you, it is take that dark color all the way back. If you have your hair parted, dark in the part.
Okay.
Because what you're gonna notice is like light, light, light in your part, light, light, lighter in your hairline, take it all the way back. Don't forget your ears ever.
I love it.
Ears are a telltale. Your ears are gonna be the same color as like the lightest part of your body, so making sure. And so you can see Elena is like a little lighter right here.
Yes, I see.
Take it all the way back.
see.
These are the areas, if your hair flips in the competition and it's white right there, you need to make sure it all melts back into the skin. And so even though this is not her color, it's starting to look a little bit more natural.
It really is. It really is. And it makes so much sense.
Right. And this is not something that we would do on a normal basis. This is not her color, but I really wanted to give you a good idea of where to place those colors so things can start to look natural. I love using small brushes like this, working the product into the face, as it looks more like skin. Because even though we're putting tons and tons of foundation on, we don't want you looking cakey. We don't want you to sweat and have like a line through your foundation.
See, and that's where the brushes really make a big difference, using brushes and having the right tools.
So
Exactly.
if you were to use a sponge, would that be a difference
It would be a difference. I would
in
specifically
the way
use,
it stays on the skin?
yeah, a sponge is meant to pick up and put down.
Okay.
And brushes are meant to blend in, melt the makeup into the skin. And so brush or beauty blender or sponge, not bad at all, just a different application. I love fingers too. Fingers will really melt the product into the skin, making it a little bit easier to work with.
Looks really nice.
I'm gonna go back in with a lighter color just to kind of, in the areas that we need a little bit less tan. And we're just gonna pull this through here. And I'm gonna go kind of over top of this and just kind of help to blend it down. Again, you can see ears are so, so fair. So let's make sure that everything looks nice and even.
So this technique here, is this something that makeup artists would, so for example, if a athlete, if she hires her own makeup artist, and let's say her makeup artist is not really used to working with competitors where they have this really dark tan, how would she communicate this to her makeup artist? Would she like go in early with her tan and say, can you?
Yes, I always say, usually, most of the time, you'll get a trial on your tan as well. Do you like this color? Is this the perfect color for you? So go in and do your trials on the same day, because then you're gonna still have it. You're also gonna need to know how frequently to touch up your tan, because I'm sure most competitors, you get your tan and you still need to touch up in certain areas, or you sweat a little bit, or you've sat down or something and you need to touch it up. It's the same type of thing. So make sure that you're doing your tan trial same day as your makeup trial. But if your artist is not a competitor artist, just let her know. My face, the darkest places on my face need to match the darkest part of my body.
I see.
Everything needs to look one. Your feet need to match your face.
Okay.
Not exactly the same color, but it needs to look like one. You don't want to
Okay.
have any part of you that is separate. Everything should really blend and melt together. So you can see that we put on that color and it is not her color. She's quite fair right now, but we really warmed her up with that color, and that's exactly how you would melt in that really, really deep dark color of your tan. And very, very, very most important is setting spray. So if you don't mind, hit that.
This spray right here?
Right over there, perfect. Setting spray is the very most important. Close, right? Spritz, spritz. 1, 2, 3, light mist. Keep your eyes closed. Seems like a lot.
Awesome.
Seems
Setting
like a
spray.
lot, but we want to make sure that we have that really amazing barrier to make sure that everything stays. That if you do sweat or you touch your face, you've got an itch, nothing is moving.
Wow, feels good. Yeah.
If you can use a primer prior to also, primer is going to keep everything on. If you feel like you want to add a little pop of something, you're like, this is great, obviously this is a much smaller, smokier, very baby scale, but if you feel like you want to add a little zhuzh to it, close your eyes for me, you can add a pop of shimmer right here on the center of the eye. I like to do it with my finger. You just press it into the product. We'll do a little bit of gold here. And remember, everything before lashes.
Okay, everything before lashes.
Everything before lashes, but just for a final little tip here, we're gonna lift the brow just a bit so that we have a nice smooth lid. And we're just gonna pop that little bit of either, you could do a shimmer, you could do a glitter, whatever's easiest for you, open. And that kind of gives the lid just a little bit more of a little pop. And so then we're gonna make sure everything looks nice and perfect. But yeah, so that's where your little pop of shimmer would go as well. Yeah.
It's nice.
Pretty quick and easy.
Yes.
Just a few tips to make sure that everything wears well, looks pretty, as natural as it can be in the areas that it needs to be natural. Our eyeshadow, not natural. Our lashes, not natural. Our lip color, our lips have a little bit of color to it, so don't feel like you can't play it up with a little bit of color, but really keeping it long wearing. A lot of times we don't want to wear a ton of gloss on the lips for competition, so your hair can get stuck in it.
Oh, you're right about that.
To a twist, your hair gets stuck and then it pulls across your face. You can't touch your face. So making sure that everything's going to stay.
Good point. That's a good point. That's a great point.
What colors would you say in my makeup, in my eye shade, right? That would be a big no-no for my type of eyes or my
Luckily,
colors.
you have brown eyes and you have, do you wear a little bit of contacts with the little blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, with brown eyes, you can run the gamut. So there's no no-nos. There's not really anything, I would say too much is too much. But other than that, color-wise, I mean, brown eyes, I mean, you win. You get, anything's good for you. But like I said, blues and greens, those are, purples are gonna really make them pop.
Okay, outstanding. So we probably have like about 5 more minutes. Can we do? Yes, we do.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, let's go bigger on our eyes.
Yes.
Yes, let's go bigger.
Of course, yeah, let's go bigger on our eyes. I will just go a little here. So we're gonna take, I'm gonna take this color right here.
Okay.
So it's a deeper, darker color. We're not going black. And we're gonna start on the inner corner here. Teeny tiny little circles are gonna help make sure that everything looks really, really even.
So it's not stroked, it's circles.
It's circles.
When you windshield wipe, you end up with a ton of shadow here and a ton of shadow here because it poofs, right? So it's just, the brush will move and then it like poofs the color here and here. So we want to put the color exactly where we put it.
I see.
So picking up a good amount of product, always tapping your brush off, because if you don't, what happens is that whatever you would tap off ends up down here.
Okay.
So these teeny tiny strokes, and we're pulling up a little bit closer to the crease here. And we're gonna keep it on the outside. Keep everything dark on the outside. We can pull it in so everything looks really, really smooth and transitional, but we don't want too much dark kind of encroaching on the entire eye. So there's a pocket right here, right where your eyeball meets the edge of your eye. It's really just rock and roll, rock and roll. And that really helps to kind of create that perfect smoky eye. Open. And twist a little bit this way for me. So you can see that it kind of fluffs right up on top of that brow, or that ocular bone. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. Perfect, you can twist right there for me. And we're gonna put our brush right in that little pocket.
So rock and roll.
Rock and roll. So you can see that I'm going in little circles, but I'm kind of going back and forth. So that's where the rock comes in.
I do.
But we're certainly not windshield wipering. We are
I like that.
baby circles.
No windshield wipers.
No windshield wipers. There's a time and a place for it, and we certainly use it when we're cleaning up things or when we're popping a little bit of color underneath of the brow. But in general, these teeny tiny circles, open, really help to put the color exactly where it needs to be.
Great look.
It is. It's very pretty on her.
Yeah. It always feels great when I have a makeup artist come in and I can just sit and relax and let them do their work.
Another super important tip is that we don't want to focus too much on, so even if I don't want this color to go all the way to the brow, I'm going to keep most of it here, but if a little bit goes outside of where you need it to be, don't fuss. You can always clean up with a wand or a makeup wipe, but it really helps to be able to get the product where you need it and then go back and clean up. So if I wanted to keep this a little bit lighter, clean brush. Clean brushes are my favorite to blend. So really short strokes again. We're still not windshield wiping because we don't want to wipe anything off. We're just blending everything in. The key to blending is keep going. Keep on keeping on. Open. Perfect. And if you'd like, you can always take a little bit down underneath the little lash line. So I don't like to keep the lash line very dark. Alina is tattooed, so she has that little bit of dark already. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of shadow, the darkest color that we've used on the eye so far, with a small smudger brush, and we're gonna tap it off. Look all the way up for me. And we're just gonna work that into the bottom lash line, all the way up. Perfect. You can still see short strokes. Still no swipe.
Right.
Swipe or no swiping.
Just short strokes.
Yep. Short strokes, and again, we're keeping it to the outer edge of the eye here. Open. Take a look. And over here, twist a little bit this way for me. Again, look all the way up. That same pocket is where you're gonna start because you're just working this product into the lash line. We don't want any separation from that bottom lash line to your color. Same with the top. Everything needs to meet the lash line.
Okay.
And so we're just blending, blending, blending. It's very, very important to stop and take a look. Stop and look at the full picture. Sometimes we can get so caught up and be right here in it that you don't see the whole picture, and you could have been done a long time ago. So making sure that you're just taking a step back and really making sure that you like it and that you want to add more. Adding more is always an option. It's a lot easier to add on than it is to take off.
Yes, okay.
And so really working that product into the bottom lash line.
Nice and natural.
I'm taking whatever's left on the brush. Go ahead and look all the way up. And this is where we're gonna pull and drag. We're just gonna pull a little bit across. All right, take a look.
All right. Look at this look. Thank you for a beautiful job on Alina. And Leiah did my makeup. This is how you want to make sure you prepare and be stage ready. Thank you, Leiah Scheibel.
Thank you.